Right now, there are millions of people paying $30 a month to use one of the, most advanced supercomputers in human history, basically, as a glorified spell checker.
Yeah, it's honestly wild when you look at the numbers.
It really is.
Yeah.
So welcome to today's deep dive. We are looking at this incredibly specific training module. It's titled Mastering Microsoft Copilot and Avoiding the App Trap.
Right.
And it was originally designed for construction professionals. So we're talking project managers, site engineers, people dealing with just massive, chaotic
It's
builds.
just frankly the perfect testing ground for this kind of tech.
Exactly. But, and this is for everyone listening, the lessons here about how we interact with data, they apply to you, whether you're, building a skyscraper or just trying to manage a totally out of control corporate marketing team.
100%. The data chaos is universal.
Right. And well, here's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
Because everyone talks about AI as this instant, effortless revolution, right? But the source material explicitly states, and I quote, Copilot is powerful, but most people use it wrong.
Yeah, that line really sets the stage.
It does. So our mission today is to figure out what Microsoft Copilot actually is, how you can leverage its full power, and most importantly, how to avoid this massive trap that completely ruins its potential.
And to do that, I mean, we really have to start from the ground up. We're going to move from understanding Copilot's underlying engine, like how it actually works, to diagnosing those common user errors you mentioned.
The traps.
Exactly. And then finally, we'll break down the exact return on investment you can expect. Because this stuff isn't free.
No, it is not. Okay, let's unpack this, because before we get into the mistakes, we have to define what the tool even is. The term AI is just, it's slapped on everything now.
It's basically a marketing buzzword at this point.
Right. So you listening, you probably already use ChatGPT or whatever. What makes Copilot fundamentally different from those consumer AIs?
Well, it all comes down to the architecture. Copilot is powered by GPT-4, which is OpenAI's model, right?
Okay, so same brain, basically.
Same brain, but, and this is the crucial distinction, it is not just a generic chat box sitting in a web browser. Microsoft partnered with OpenAI to integrate that model directly into your Microsoft 365 ecosystem.
Meaning all your apps.
Yeah, Word, Excel, Outlook, Teams, PowerPoint, SharePoint, all of it.
Yeah.
And because it lives natively inside that ecosystem, it has access to something called the Microsoft Graph.
The Microsoft Graph. Okay, what is that exactly? Is it like a database?
Sort of. It's essentially the web of connections between your identity, your organization, and all of your private data.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so native access to the graph means Copilot isn't just generating text based on like Wikipedia and the public internet. It actually has the context of your real work life.
That's huge.
It really is. It can see your emails, it sees your calendar, your documents, your Teams transcripts, all in real time. And importantly, it does this while respecting your company's existing security permissions.
Okay, which completely changes the workflow because, I mean, up until now, using AI has been this incredibly manual, clunky process.
Oh, the copy pasting is a nightmare.
Right. You get this massive email thread, and you have to highlight it, copy the text, open a new tab for ChatGPT, paste it in, ask it to summarize, copy the summary.
Paste it back into your email. Yeah.
It's exhausting. That friction alone makes it useless for, like, quick tasks.
Friction is the absolute death of adoption in software. By removing that copy-paste barrier, Copilot totally alters how you interact with the machine.
Give me an example from the source material. How does it look in practice?
So let's say you're in Outlook. You don't copy anything. You just open the Copilot prompt and say something highly specific like, summarize all emails from the BHP superintendent received in the last 30 days and identify any items requiring a response. Right. So in this construction context, the BHP superintendent is a major client. You're asking the AI to automatically filter a whole month of complex client interactions natively without leaving your inbox.
Okay, so using a standard AI is kind of like asking a genius on the street for business advice.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Like, sure, they're brilliant, but they don't know anything about your company. But Copilot is like hiring that same genius, bringing them into your office, and giving them the master keys to your filing cabinet, your inbox, and your meeting transcripts. They already know your business.
Exactly. Giving them those master keys transforms the AI from this generic oracle into a highly contextualized agent. It doesn't just read data, it cross-references it.
Cross-references.
Yeah, so if you're in Word, You can command it to, say, draft a formal response to an attached letter of demand and tell it to base the argument on your project correspondence from the last 6 months.
It just pulls all that together.
It pulls the context, synthesizes the timeline, and writes the draft right there in Word.
Okay, but this brings us to the core problem, right? The trap. Because if Copilot has the keys to the entire office, why on earth are people keeping it locked in a single room?
And that is exactly what the training module calls the app trap. It's this massive mistake of using Copilot in strict isolation.
How so?
Basically, a user opens Microsoft Word, they look at a single document, they click the Copilot button, and they type, "Improve this paragraph."
Oh, man. They're treating it like Clippy, like the old Microsoft paperclip.
Yes, they're taking an incredibly advanced LLM that, passed the bar exam, and they're using it to fix their comma splices.
That is, it's kind of tragic.
It's a drastic underutilization. The source material compares it to hiring a world-class expert consultant, giving them access to all your strategic data, and then only asking them to proofread your memos.
So what does this all mean for our daily habits? Are we just fundamentally lazy with our prompts?
I wouldn't say lazy, but we are conditioned.
Right, because it sounds like treating Copilot like a fancy spell checker is the equivalent of like buying a Ferrari just to sit in the driveway and listen to the radio.
That is a perfect analogy. For
Right.
30 years, we've been taught that software is strictly siloed. Word is for writing, Excel is for numbers, Outlook is for email. It's muscle memory.
Right, so we open Word and we only think about word problems.
Exactly. Breaking out of the app trap means shifting your behavior to use Copilot as an integrated cross-application intelligence layer. You have to actively train yourself to ask it to pull from multiple sources at once.
Okay, so let's make that real for the listener. What does a high-leverage prompt actually look like?
So instead of asking Word to fix a sentence, you open Word and prompt Copilot like this. Based on all project emails from the last month, the contract document located in the SharePoint library, and the meeting notes from last week's Teams meeting, draft a comprehensive project status update for the principal.
Oh, wow. So you're hitting 3 different apps in one sentence.
Outlook, SharePoint, and Teams. You're commanding it to synthesize all this messy, conflicting human data and output a polished document.
That is completely changing the way we work. So to break out of this app trap, we need to know what Copilot is actually best at. What are the golden use cases here?
The module runs through a few core capabilities where the magic really happens. The first is email synthesis. And I don't just mean reading faster. It's about triage.
Like sorting the chaos.
Right. You can have Copilot summarize and prioritize your inbox after a full day of meetings based on urgency and your historical interaction patterns.
That alone saves an hour a day.
Easily. The second is meeting intelligence. It can take a whole team's transcript, summarize it, identify the key decisions, and actually extract action items.
Okay, wait. So it knows who is supposed to do what?
Yes, it ties action items to specific people based on the conversation.
That is amazing. No more who is supposed to send that file. Emails.
Exactly. Third is document drafting in Word with SharePoint context, which we just talked about. And fourth, this is big, one data analysis in Excel using natural language.
Oh, thank goodness. Because Excel, people are terrified of Excel formulas.
Nobody wants to write a nested VLOOKUP or build a complex pivot table.
Right. So how does Copilot handle it?
You literally just tell it in plain English, analyze this cost data and produce a variance summary by cost code.
And it just builds it.
It understands the semantic intent behind your words, translates that into mathematical operations, and executes the analysis.
That's incredible. But the training module highlights a 5th capability as the absolute highest value feature, right? Especially for construction and project management.
Yes, cross-application search and synthesis. This is the holy grail.
Okay, lay it out for us.
So the example they give is dealing with a site issue. Let's say there's a structural steel delay, and it's tied to an RFI, a request for information. Let's call it RFI 042. You prompt Copilot to find everything related to the structural steel delay and RFI 042 across all emails, Teams messages, documents, and meeting notes, and produce a chronological summary.
Okay, wait a minute. I'm going to play devil's advocate here.
Go for it.
I can already search my computer for RFI 042, like standard Windows search does that. What makes this different from just typing a keyword into a search bar?
It's fundamentally different. A standard keyword search is just lexical matching. It looks for those exact letters. It gives you a pile of 30 emails and a 3-hour Teams transcript and essentially says, here you go, the keyword is in here somewhere, good luck.
Right, and then I still have to spend half my day reading it all to piece together what actually happened.
Exactly. But Copilot is doing semantic search. It understands the actual meaning and context of your query.
So it's not just looking for the string of numbers.
No. It understands that an email from 3 weeks ago complaining about the delay with the metal beams is related to the structural steel RFI, even if the exact keyword RFI042 isn't anywhere in that email.
Oh, wow. That's a game changer.
It pulls all that conceptually linked data, reads it on your behalf, and synthesizes a readable, chronological narrative. It replaces hours of manual human review.
Okay, so Copilot is clearly a beast. But, and this is a big but, if it's this powerful, why does the source material introduce another player? It reveals that power users aren't actually just relying on Copilot.
Right. Welcome to the dual AI setup, the ultimate tag team.
Copilot versus Claude, or I guess Copilot ND Claude.
And Claude.
Oh.
Exactly. They are complementary, not competitive. Copilot is heavily optimized for integration, rapid retrieval, and formatting within the Microsoft ecosystem.
But Claude is for something else.
Yes, you tag in Claude for deep reasoning and custom skills that go beyond M365. Claude is incredibly good at processing dense, nuanced logic without losing the thread.
Having two AIs active on the same project, I mean, that sounds a bit overwhelming for the listener. Is this a too many cooks in the kitchen situation?
It might sound like it, but the text explicitly calls this a legitimate power configuration. Copilot is your incredibly efficient chief of staff who manages your files and comms. Claude is the highly specialized external consultant you bring in for deep, focused work.
Give me a concrete example. When do you tag in Claude in a construction setting?
The source specifically mentions using Claude to review massive legal contracts for departure clauses.
Departure clauses?
Yeah, finding where a contract deviates from standard industry norms, or drafting a formal extension of time notice, an EOT.
Oh, right. Because an EOT requires tying together weather reports, site logs, contract stipulations.
Exactly. It's a complex logical puzzle. Copilot might struggle to hold all those conditional legal arguments together perfectly. Claude thrives on it.
What else?
Populating a variation register from hundreds of daily reports, or running what they call a project indexer across a massive, messy project folder to extract specific financial deviations.
So Copilot gathers the data, and Claude analyzes the really dense stuff.
Exactly. You use Copilot for native tasks, and you move to Claude when you need deep, specialized reasoning.
Okay, this is a phenomenal tech stack. But we have to talk about the catch.
The price tag.
The cost, exactly. Is it actually worth it for you or your business to pay for this? Because frankly, a lot of people think they already have this for free.
Oh, this is a critical misconception. The training module goes out of its way to clarify this. If you go to copilot.datamicrosoft.com on your web browser, that is the free consumer version.
Right.
That is not Microsoft Copilot for M365. The free version has absolutely zero native integration with your private data. It can't see your graph.
So it's just regular ChatGPT with a Microsoft logo.
Basically, to get the native integration, you have to have an M365 business or enterprise plan, and D, you have to buy the specific Copilot license on top of that.
And what's the damage?
As of 2025, it's roughly $30 per user per month.
Okay, $30 per person every month. That adds up fast for a business.
It does. But the module breaks down the exact math for a 10-person SME, a small to medium enterprise. Let's walk through it.
Let's hear it.
So 10 people at $30 a head, that's $300 a month in software costs. Now assume Copilot saves each user just 2 hours a week.
2 hours a week. Honestly, after hearing about the RFI search feature, 2 hours seems really conservative.
Very conservative.
Yeah.
So if their fully loaded rate salary, benefits, overhead is $80 an hour.
Okay, 80 times 2, that's a $160 saved per week per person.
Right. Multiply that by the 10 team members. That is $1,600 saved every single week.
Wow. Wait, so the monthly cost is $300.
And you are saving $1,600 a week. The monthly cost pays for itself in less than a single business week.
That is wild. When you break it down like that, $30 a month is basically the cost of buying your team lunch once.
Exactly.
If it saves you hours of digging through old emails just to piece together one structural steel delay, it feels like an absolute no-brainer.
It shifts it from being an IT expense to being a fundamental driver of operational efficiency.
So to recap our journey today for you listening, we learned that Copilot's true power isn't just generating text. It's that native access to your Microsoft Graph.
Right, your private data.
And we learned that you absolutely must avoid the app trap. Do not use it as a glorified spell checker in a single app. You have to demand cross-app synthesis.
Pulling from emails, Teams, and SharePoint all at once.
Exactly. And we saw that it pairs beautifully with Claude for that deep, complex reasoning, and that the ROI, as we just heard, is undeniable if you actually use it right.
It really is.
Whether you are managing a massive construction site or just trying to survive a chaotic corporate inbox, treating AI as this cross-application intelligence layer is the key to getting your time back. But it leaves us with a really big question to end on.
It does. And I want the listener to really ponder this. If AI can now instantly synthesize every single email, every meeting transcript, and every document to create a perfect chronological project update, what happens to the traditional role of a project manager?
That's a scary thought for some people.
Well, as AI takes over the raw organization of information, does the human value in the workplace shift entirely away from data management and purely into relationship management and human persuasion?
I think it has to. Because if the machine is better at organizing the data, we have to get better at being human.
Exactly right.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Highly encourage you to look at your own digital workspace this week through this new lens. Break out of the app trap, give it the master keys, and see what happens. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.